Happy April, Campers and Team. This is the monthly message for April 2023. So I'm going to dive in. There's a few different topics. I know that I've missed at least last month on the message, and we'll go ahead and get started. So we'll start with the state of the market. How are we doing? How's the market going? So um, it's been an interesting year so far. I think a lot of you have probably seen stat surveys and kind of heard, and the new RV market happens to be down by something like 25 to 30%, depends on towable, motorized type, that sort of thing. And it's very similar to what we saw in the end of last year. So really the third and fourth quarters last year, it's kind of consistent with that. And we kind of expected it, right? So we knew that the COVID boom times were going to end at some point. We were going to get into a more of a state of normalcy. We're seeing that plus some of the headwinds from interest rate hikes and those sorts of things go on. Manufacturers now have met the capacity, so like they are actually able to produce enough units for the market, and so we're seeing lots that are much more full and those sorts of things. So that's kind of the state of the market. How's Campers Inn doing? So what's been interesting is so far this year, overall, we set our budgets, and our budgets are pretty darn accurate, actually. So when we look at what we budgeted back in November, December, and how things have gone January, February, March, pretty darn close. Depends on the store, right? So overall, if we look at the overall picture, I could talk about the individuals like service or parts or sales, but I'll just give you the overall picture as we're really performing pretty close to budget so far. And we'll see how April turns out here in a few days. But that's kind of how we're doing. And I think that that's a win. And the win is that we did a pretty decent job planning. But we do have variance, right? So we have some stores that are coming into the new year and killing it. And we have some stores that are missing their budget. And we'll kind of play this out and see how it goes. But always like to be transparent with the team, let you know how things are going, if they're going good, bad, and different. And I guess the overall message is kind of going as expected, which is a lot less than COVID times and kind of like a new normal. So that's the overall. But like I said, there are variations between regions and stores. And we could talk about weather and geography and lots of different things, but there are some variations. But that's kind of the overall. So as we talk about the market, it was interesting. Jeff and I were talking the other day, and we were talking about expansions and acquisitions. And one of the we got a couple things going on. I'm going to talk about the acquisition sides first. And one of the questions we often get asked is, are we growing? Are we looking to continue to grow even though the market is softer than it's been in the past? And the answer is yes, but very selectively, right? So we're not looking to go ahead and expand a ton because we want to be pickier, especially about which acquisitions potentially would make sense, which greenfield sites would make sense, because we are doing some greenfield sites that we've had on the docket. And so you probably will see us over the next, I don't know, let's say year or so, even if the market is down a little bit, you'll see us look at opportunities to grow. Whether or not we take them will be a different case, but we will look at those opportunities to grow. Oftentimes, we can go ahead and buy a dealership or get into a new site at a pretty reasonable value. Other things that happen is in a time like this, there's a lot of instability in brands. So brands get shed by other dealers, and there might be opportunities that open up that in really good times, we don't have those same opportunities. Like if we can pick an A-tier brand in a market that previously was closed, it might actually be an opportunity. So the cost of entry goes down in these times, and the opportunities actually oftentimes go up. And so that's why we kind of look at these opportunities. The other pieces that we're doing strategically is you've seen us talk about 2022 model year inventory and moving those out. We even used our liquidation sale, right? And we've sales like the Motorhome Madness sale. We're going to have our flash sale here in May, right? So we do these different things to kind of drive business. And why are we moving out 2022 inventory? Well, it's kind of interesting. So the manufacturers made the RVs later than they usually made them. We received 2022 inventory in October, and I think there was even a few pieces that came in early November, which is really late. And the manufacturers are actually switching their model year change. Most of them are June 1st this year. So that's a really short year. In some cases, as little as, because June 1st is really like the end of, or sorry, not June 1st, July 1st when they're going to switch it. So it's really, 8 months or so. So we didn't even get a full year with the model year 22s. And the challenge is if you have 22s, we're currently buying 23s, and if 24s hit the lot, when we still have a lot of 22s, it's going to put us at a disadvantage in the marketplace. So we feel it's necessary to lower our level of 22s. 23s aren't nearly as scary because if you got a 1-year-old model year inventory and a 24 comes out, it's not a big deal, but you don't want to have 2 model years earlier. So that's kind of what the why behind the 2022s, and by liquidating that, it gives us an opportunity to buy a 23 or eventually a model year 2024 inventory that will be much more desirable in the marketplace. So that's kind of the goal, and that's the reason why we've been asked that a few times. Another thing we did, I know I'm kind of just listing off some things because I haven't done this in a couple months, is we placed some caps on inventory for stores. And we've been asked, why do we place the caps on inventory? Well, a couple things are impacting us. One is that in tougher times, we've got to be really conscious about our assets and what we spend money on. And in this environment, what we're finding is that the interest rates are much higher on the floor plan, which is basically how we pay for our new inventory. And so we got to make sure that we have fresh inventory coming in so we don't just carry it for long periods of time. So by ensuring that we have caps, what it does is it ensures that our turn rate, the amount of inventory we churn through at any given time is reasonable. And so we can set that. Now, what's kind of interesting is we are setting that roughly quarterly. So we set it at the end of the year for all the stores, and we just adjusted it. So some of you, even GMs, probably haven't seen the new caps, but you'll see them soon. So stores that are really kind of trending above budget and they're doing a really good job, we're actually increasing it and saying, go get more inventory and let's sell some more, right? And stores that might be missing it, let's say they had a tougher winter, we're saying, well, that market is obviously off a little bit. We might adjust it down a little bit. And we're going to do that throughout the year. So the message is that we're going to continue to push the inventory to wherever it's selling really well. And in a tight environment like this, it makes a lot of sense because we want to be really good stewards of our assets. We want to make sure that we are here for another 56 years or 57 years, whatever we're at. So to do that, we have to make sure that we're good stewards with our inventory and the assets that we have. So that is the why on the caps. Another thing that we did towards the end of last year is we actually set up an advisory board. This is really cool. We pulled people from all different aspects of really the whole U.S. So what we did is we pulled, someone who is an expert on like an operational guy from the RV industry. We pulled someone who is a financial guru on like big finance, like banking finance and that sort of stuff. We pulled someone who is an expert in HR, someone an expert in marketing, someone that's in the RV industry but not the dealership side of the industry. And then we pulled someone with a really strong accounting background, and we have this advisory board. So from time to time, you may see someone actually pop into one of the stores that says, hey, I'm on the board of advisors. That's a real thing, right? We actually have a board of advisors, and we meet with them virtually a few times a year and in person once a year. I'm very excited because we were able to pull a really great, talented team in, and maybe in a future message we'll talk about them. But really cool stuff there. So giving everybody kind of a note on our advisory board that we have. And then another really cool thing we've done is our sponsorships. And I should have written out a list of all the sponsorships, but a lot of you know that we've been sponsoring Larry Fleet, who's a country singer, and he's actually getting more and more popular all the time. We've been sponsoring him for years, and actually Winnebago and us are partnering on that one. Recently, we sponsored the McCabe's, which they have a TV show on, I'm blanking, Discovery, and so we sponsored them. And some of you have probably seen us with Kevin Harvick, and some other NASCAR sponsorships over the last few years. So the NASCAR one's really kind of interesting, and I want to give a pat on the back to some of our team. The NASCAR sponsorship has kind of grown organically. A big thanks to a lot of you. So what we did was there's not a monetary change there. With the NASCAR it's really us servicing those customers, and it's us. We will sometimes do like a trade of an RV usage, that sort of stuff. And so what's happened is over the last 3 years, Larry Peters done a great job kind of spearheading this, but our service departments have done a great job taking care of the NASCAR drivers and the crews and whatnot, and they continue to buy RVs from us. And they're actually reaching out to us for us to be the official, RV dealer sponsor of whatever. So we have Harvick, we have Thor Sport. There's another one that we're going to be doing soon, and a few others. And so you will see us on some trucks and cars and different things from time to time, and know that our teams, our service teams, their quality service is what's getting us really that reputation in the NASCAR world. And no, we're not having to go out and pay millions of dollars for it. We're doing trades with these guys on service and on RVs and that sort of thing, and it's grown really organically. So the sponsorship's really cool. We've also done some other sponsorships of local teams, whether it's been, and I know the Southeast one's better than I do the other areas of the country, but it's like the Jacksonville Icemen, which is a minor league hockey team. We do the same thing in Savannah with the Savannah Ghost Pirates. We do the same thing in Myrtle Beach with one of the baseball teams, and I know we do a few others. And so we're doing some really cool sponsorships on the local level that really kind of bring us in with the community and do some really cool things. So I know it's at 11 minutes. I covered a whole bunch of different things that are going on in the company, but I want to kind of tell you where the state of the market is, how we're doing comparatively, talk about some of the big strategy things we've got going on, and then just keep you informed of different things. If there's anything you want to know about, seriously, shoot me an email, right? bhirsch@campersin.com. Shoot me an email and please let me know, like, I heard about this or this rumor is going on. I'd love to cover it. And I think that's about it. So farewell from, I'm actually in the Tom's River store. I'm at the second floor. I found some time to break away and put this together. And I hope everybody has a good rest of your April, and looking forward to some really cool marketing events that we're doing with some flash sales in May, and should be a good time. So thanks, everybody.